Hello everybody. In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to solve a simple basic profit maximization problem using Excel solver. The first thing that you want to make sure before we get started is to ensure that you have solver downloaded to your Excel worksheet. So to do that, go ahead and click on the File tab. Go down to where it says Options and click on it. Click on Add-ins. Select Excel Add-ins from the drop-down and hit Go. Now you want to select Solver Add-ins and hit OK. Now we want to check and make sure that we have Solver already downloaded to the worksheet. So we're going to hit on the Data tab, and under the Analysis section we already see Solver right there. So let's go ahead and get started. This is a problem for Woodco manufacturing plant that manufactures two different kind of products: the tables and the chairs. And they have two types of woods available to make these two products, which is the oak wood and the pine wood. Now what the company wants to know is, because it has a constraint of limited amount of material available, they want to know what product mix should they produce that will help them to maximize their profits given the constraints that they have. So what we want to do is first go ahead and put in our constraints over here. So we put in the amount of available oak wood that we have. So we have about 150 feet of oak wood available. We have about 210 feet of pine wood available. We've also put in the other information that was given to us in the question, which is the unit price for each of the kind of product that it produces. So it costs us, the unit profit that each oak table gives us is about $40. The unit profit that each pine table gives us is about $40 too. Each oak chair gives us a profit of $15, and each pine chair gives us a profit of $15 as well. Now down here we have the usage. So producing each kind of, or each unit rather, of oak table requires us to use 17 feet of oak wood and none of the pine. To produce each unit of pine tables, we require 30 feet of pine wood and none of the oak wood. To produce each unit of oak chair, we need 5 feet of oak wood and none of the pine. And to produce each unit of pine chairs, we need 1 feet of pine wood. So once we have all of this data put in, we want to go ahead and make sure that the amount that we use in total does not exceed the amount that we have available. So in order to go ahead and do that, I'm going to put in a formula that's going to make sure that whatever we produce times whatever gets used, the total sum does not exceed what we have available right over here. To make that easier, I'm going to put in the sum product formula that's available in Excel. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. I'm going to use an absolute cell reference by hitting the F4 button. And I'm going to do the same thing for the pine. Now moving on to the total profit formula, we want to make sure that we maximize profit. And the way we could do and put in a profit maximization formula is the amount that we produce times the unit profit should sum up to be a maximum profit number. So we're going to use the sum product formula again to do that. Alright, once we have that set up, we are going to go ahead and use the solver function to solve this equation, find the maximum profit that we can get, and the right mix that's required to get that profit, right mix of products that need to be produced to get that profit. So go ahead and hit on the Data tab again. Under the Analysis, hit on Solver. The first thing it asks you is, what is your objective cell? So our objective is to maximize profit. So we're going to select this as our objective cell. And we want to maximize it, not minimize anything. So we're going to make sure that it's on maximize, on max. Next, it asks you for the variable cells. The only thing that we can vary is the product mix, which is the amount of chairs and amount of tables that we can produce. So we want to enter these cells over there. Next, we're going to put in the constraints. So to put in the constraints, I'm going to hit on Add. We want to make sure the amount that gets used is less than or equal to the amount that we have available. Hit OK. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the next one. The amount that gets used should be less than or equal to the amount that we have available. Go ahead and click OK. So now we have our constraints put in this box right here. We want to make sure that the variables are non-negative, so make sure you have a check mark there, and make sure that your solving method is put to simplex LP to make sure that indeed we're using linear programming and not any other method. Once we hit solve, Excel is going to solve that for us, and it asks us if we want to keep the solutions. So yes, we do want to keep the solutions because we want to know what our optimal mix should be. So we go ahead and click OK, and here it is. Here's the result that Excel has come up with. So in order to maximize our profit, given the constraints that we have on the material, we should go ahead and produce only chairs and use all of our pine wood and oak wood to produce chairs and none of the tables. That is what is going to give us the maximum profit. Now this was a simple basic problem that only had one constraint. I'm going to go ahead and quickly show you another example that I have here that uses more than one constraints to solve a similar program. This is about a nut company that can produce 4 varieties of nuts, macadamia nuts. It can be cluster, crunch, roasted, or whole. And the kind of constraints that we have is the production constraints that include the number of hours we have available for hauling, roasting, coating, and packaging. The same thing, we have some supply constraints here about the amount of supply that we have available. And then we have the demand constraints, which kind of gives us the total demand for each kind of product and how much is the maximum that we can sell. So we have the demand constraints here. We have the amount that each of the products use right over here. We've done the same thing. We want to maximize profit. So we have used the sum product formula over here. We've used the sum product formula over here too, similar to the previous example that we had, in order to make sure that we do not exceed, the usage does not exceed the maximum that we have available. Let's go to solver, and here's the solver solution it gives you. We have had our objective cell as our total profits. We have our changing variable cells, which are the product produced, and then we have all of our constraints from here put on over here. Again, we want to make sure that we're using simplex linear programming and hit solve. Okay, and that's the solution that we have for this problem as well. So in order to maximize our profit, we need 1000 grams of whole product, 500 cluster, 80 crunch, and 200 roasted. Thank you for listening. I hope this video was helpful in trying to understand how to use the solver application within Excel. Goodbye.